Guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So today we're just going to do, as part of our mass making series, or not really series, but our Tuesday mass making projects, we're going to mass make some pockets for your journals. So yeah, the supplies that you are going to need as usual is your scissors, your glue, some papers, be that 12 by 12s, A4, scraps of paper, whatever you like really, and maybe some inks and, possibly a corner rounder. Up to you really whether you're going to decorate your pieces or just leave them literally plain, ready to decorate as you come to use them in a journal. So that will depend whether you bring decorating pieces or not, but those are the bare minimums that you're going to need. So let's get cracking. Bought again some scraps down, or some pieces of paper and things to get working with, and I thought we'd just make some little pockets and things ready for our journals. So I'm going to just clear some of these to the side so we've got a slightly clearer workspace, and we'll just get cracking and do some stuff straight away. So this obviously we've used before. This is just the remainder of that sheet. So I'm just going to cut down, oops, take that white trim, the white top bit off of there, and then I'm just going to cut it down like this. And we might as well do two because we've got the remainder of that. So, and I'm just going to pop this to one side, and then we'll just cut down the other one that's a similar, similar colourings. So again, we used this, I think, in one of the videos already. So again, we'll just trim this down, taking that white section off. And again, I'll just trim it here. And then we'll just, again, trim roughly here. So we've got those two bits. Now I'm trying to be more efficient today. So these are all of my background bits, my back sections of those pockets. So I might get all of my back sections ready, if that makes sense. So that I'm, raring to go with the other pieces. So I'm just going to use some of this. So I'll just take that. I'll probably use it the stripy way because I'm not over keen on the music, sheet music being the other way round. So that's another piece. Might take some of this flowery blue. Do I want to? Not sure about that. The reason being is it's plain on the other side, which I sometimes find quite useful for, kind of folding flips and things like that. Same with this one, so I'll probably hang on to that and we'll do something else with that another week. Isn't this pretty paper? This is just from some 12 by 12 pads that I've, had. And obviously they've been cut down. So these are just kind of the bits that I've got left. So again, we'll just cut that down. Take that one. Like that. I mean, I have to say, I know I did say I think this last time, but despite this being a bit of a, get organised, use up our bits and bobs, I haven't really made a dent in my pieces. I don't know about you guys, but I still have a phenomenal amount of pieces, to use. So yeah, I don't know whether that's your experience, but definitely mine. It's not really making a great deal of difference. But hey, Rome wasn't built in a day, and we've got to start somewhere, haven't we? So right, how many pieces have I got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let's go for another couple of pieces. So I might use this one, which is just some of my Grand Lazuli background page. So I'm going to cut it down here, I think, like that. And I wonder if I should do, well, I might put that to one side. I might use a piece of this. And should we use, let's have a look. Let's use a piece of this one. Oops, yep. I'm pretty sure that I must be at 13 now, so I don't really want to stop at 13. That unlucky number, you know, I've said this before, I mean, I'm not overly superstitious, but having said that, why tempt fate? So, yeah, I don't think I'll stop there. So, just having a look, I've got another scrap here, so perhaps we'll take this one. This is just from my TikTok background pages. So we'll just take that. You know, I'm really trying not to overthink this and just crack on straight away. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yes. So hopefully we're on track for a, you know, really productive session here. So I'm going to trim this down because it's quite big at the moment. So we'll trim that like that. Now this one here, I just want to decide how I want this. So I'll probably trim it down here, like that. Same with this one, only because these were obviously full A4 sizes. So, you know, they're quite big. So I'll just trim them down and make them slightly smaller. Same with this one. And obviously the other pieces, they're already much smaller. So, you know, we don't have to worry about those. So that's those. Now, what we're going to do is obviously make our pocket pieces. So we can make them obviously, you know, what's the word? Neutral. You know, we can make some neutral ones, we can make some patterned ones and just have a play and, you know, see what comes out like what. So as you can see, I mean, this is that same paper, but actually I quite like it on this one. So I think I'm going to do that. So what I'm going to do is just line it up roughly here. And then I'm just going to trim down at the side slightly. Now this is where really I could do with a bone folder, and I should have, you know, should have bought one really, but never mind. So I'm folding this in around the sides like that. And then I'm just going to unfold it and fold it up at the bottom like that. Okay. And then I'm going to cut across here like that. Now, just want to check that I wouldn't prefer it that way. No, definitely no. Right. Now, I was going to be really efficient, like we kind of ended up being last time with the policy envelopes, and do all my cutting, all my cutting and then all my sticking. But actually, because these are, you know, bent around, they will just come unbent, if that makes sense. You know, they will end up, you know, all over the place, and I won't remember what bits for what and things like that. So for me, I'm going to find this easier to just stick them down as we go. So, you know, that's why I'm doing it this way. Again, back to doing it this way. Like that. There we go. So that's one pocket. All done. So now I'm just going to tuck that under something so as it's being weighed down. So in fact, let me bring my jar. I've not really got much space here today. I don't know quite what's happened, but what little space I did have seems to have just disappeared. So it's even less than normal for some reason. Right, so that's that one. So this one again might just go for the matching paper if there's enough left. So let's just bring that back. Now, I really like polka dots, so I might have to go for the dotty side. I mean, I have to say, this is pretty nice paper, and I'm, you know, I like both sides. but I think I'll go for the dots. So again, we're just going to chop around. Oops. Chop down there, like that. Fold that in either side, like that. And then the bottom piece, we're just going to fold that up like that. Okay, and then we're just going to, again, just trim off those corners like that. Oh, my stomach's rumbling like mad. I don't know why I'm so starving today, but I don't know whether you guys can actually hear it on the camera. Hopefully not. Hopefully you can't, but it's sounding quite loud to me. So it's lunchtime, so sometimes you just get those days, don't you, where you're extra hungry. So I shall obviously go and have lunch, you know, as soon as I finish filming. So there we go. So again, I mean, this is quite thick paper because this is scrapbooking paper. So I'm just holding it down a little bit extra than, you know, I possibly would if it was thinner paper, because it's likely to flick up, you know, and come unstuck again. So that's another little pocket there. Again, I just pop that down under the jar. So, well, it probably makes sense if I do all of the scrapbook paper ones first, because obviously, you know, then that's all the same, all the same ones. I mean, this is a tedious process, and you know, I wonder how you guys are finding this, whether you're finding it just really boring. Now, as you can see, this one, I haven't really got enough room to have a fold up the bottom, but that doesn't matter. I'm just going to fold it round the edges, but have the bottom piece just stuck down. So, you know, it's going to be the same effectively. You're just not going to have quite such a lot of room in your pocket. So, you know, it's really fine. It doesn't matter. It's just a slightly different way of doing it. But, you know, just in case you have any pieces that are not really big enough to have wrapping around at the bottom, then just pop them around at the sides like this, and then just glue them at the bottom. So, you know, I mean, I think that works pretty well. So just trim that down. So for this piece, I'm just going to take it out, or take it off, and then I'm just going to glue the sides like that, and then glue along the bottom like that. Oops. Okay. And just pop that down like that. Get my wipe. Got ink or something now all over the back of that. Still doesn't really matter. Right, and then you can just trim up the bottom, you know, if you need to, like that. Again, I might just trim the length down a bit because it's quite tall. There we go. So, and again, another one for under the jar. So obviously that means I don't have enough of this paper for this one, but that's fine. We will pop something else on there in a moment. So we'll take this one next, and similar thing, because again, you know, it's not hugely wide, so you know, we'll just do what we can with what we've got, and then we'll just, oh, actually this one is longer. Sorry, I apologize. I thought perhaps I was going to have the same situation, you know, where it wasn't really very wide, but actually it's pretty good. So pop that down like that, take it in here. So I mean, obviously now, you know, we've done a couple, I don't really need to be, you know, saying aloud what I'm doing. You know, I'm sure we're all now familiar with what we're doing here. So, you know, hopefully some of you guys who, like me, struggle to do things in bulk are maybe making some of these along with me. You know, or maybe you're making something else along with me. Maybe you're crafting along doing something else. I'd love to hear whether you're doing bulk making, you know, mass making, or whether you're doing, you know, just singular pieces. You know, and how this is going for everybody. My glue now is not wanting to play the game, which is just very frustrating. Come on. Yeah, I feel like, you know, I'm not going to know myself once I've got a whole bunch of pieces ready made. This is just going to be amazing. So hopefully you guys feel the same. Because I generally don't really have that situation going on. I mean, I do have things ready made, but not necessarily, you know, things that I can use, if you see what I mean. You know, they're often quite a specific theme or something like that. So, you know, this is just going to be really awesome. Because I'm trying to keep these quite plain. And obviously, I'm not decorating them. You know. So for me, hopefully these are going to be pretty versatile and pretty usable in a variety of ways and projects. So, right. Obviously that glue's seeped out there, doesn't matter, you know, because obviously no one's going to see the back of the pocket. There we go. Pop that down again under the jar. Oops. So again, we've now got, you know, another one where we've got no paper to go on the front. Again, that's fine, not going to worry about it. Same with this one. So let me move this out of the way. So this one here, we could, you know, keep it very plain using this here, you know, which that may be kind of quite nice, or we could pop something on here that's quite decorative. We could obviously mix it up and and use a different style, you know, or a different colour. You know, completely up to you how you're doing yours. Let's have a look. I mean, that's quite nice, for instance. But because I'm trying to make things in bulk, again, I might just go for quite a neutral theme here. So, you know, I might just use the top of this page, because then, you know, I've got the maximum options for when I come to use this, if it's just quite neutral colour. So, you know, that's why I'm trying to keep things as neutral as I possibly can, really. So just top that up. Oops. I don't know whether that's straight. I don't think that is very straight, so I'll just cut that down. So what have I been up to lately? We went to the circus. It was brilliant. I hope I'm not repeating myself here. I haven't been to a circus for a few years. Went probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and that was the first time we'd been for, I mean, many years. But it's such a brilliant night out. I think sometimes circuses get a bit of a bad rap, because I think people still associate them with being, you know, the circuses of days gone by. You know, I mean, obviously they don't have animals now at the circus, you know, and actually they don't really have clowns particularly. I think, you know, clowns are often not really particularly popular. Oops, I'm just going to move that down because I've got that flower there. You know, I think lots of people don't really like clowns very much. So, you know, I don't think they tend to have clowns, or that's been my experience. Certainly the circus that we've been to recently and the circus that I went to about 4 years ago, there were no clowns in sight. So I think that must be a general thing now, that, you know, there aren't clowns really at the circus, which I think is a good thing, because I do think, you know, lots of children, I think, find clowns pretty horrible. So yeah, it's more like gymnastics really, and you know, lots of, I mean, amazing talented acts. You know, the people, you know, the circus workers, my gosh, they must be so strong, because the things that they're doing, they're so controlled, they're so, you know, focused, they're so flexible. Their strength is just amazing, you know, unbelievable. And you're watching some of those acts with your, you know, heart in your mouth, just thinking, oh my gosh, you know, they could fall off of there, or, you know, it was really good. I think it was the J. Miller's circus that we went to. I can't remember for the life of me what the circus was that we went to 4 years ago, but it was equally as good. I mean, they're really, really, really good. So definitely, you know, if a circus comes to a town near you, I would recommend it. It's brilliant, you know, brilliant fun, brilliant night out. So yeah, really good. We all really enjoyed it. And you know, we all came out kind of, literally blows your mind, you know, how clever and how talented all the people are who are performing in the circus, you know, just unbelievably talented. So I might go for that, I think. Do I want to go for that? Oh, I'll go for this because I'm a bit boring like that. Shall I? Yeah. Yeah, so definitely, you know, brilliant. I mean, you come out and you kind of say, wow, you know, I wonder what goes on behind the scenes kind of during their training. You just picture just endless accidents, you know. I mean, I don't ever hear reports on the news or anything like that, you know, there are endless accidents or anything. I mean, I guess because they're so skilled in what they do, you know, they're perhaps not having accidents. I mean, I'm just watching it as a, you know, complete, you know, non-gymnast, thinking probably of all the accidents I would be having, but they're just amazing. I mean, the most amazing one probably that we saw was a girl, now what does she call it? Hair hanging or something. Hair hanging. That doesn't sound quite right to me, but her whole routine, she was hanging by her hair. So she was like, you know, hoisted up into the air and, you know, was spinning around and, you know, flying around the circus by her hair. Absolutely amazing. I just, you know, I said to my daughter when we came out, now, you know how much your hair hurts, you know, when we brush it. Can you imagine swinging about like that by your hair? So she, I think, was incredibly amazed as well. So yeah, just phenomenal. And while she was flying around, you know, by her hair, she then, you know, came down at one point and then got the fire, you know, was then working with the fire. And she did this most mesmerising, amazing sequence where she kind of then had two things, you know, like one in each hand, that opened out like fans with flames, you know, at the end of each of the fan type bits. So it looked like wings, because when she was flying around, you know, she then had them to each side and it looked like wings. So, you know, she looked a little bit like a kind of bird, you know, but obviously flames as its wings. It was amazing. So yeah, definitely would recommend a night out at the circus. It just, you know, literally blew our mind of just how amazing the acts were. Now, just wondering what to have here, whether again to go for the matching paper or whether to mix it up and have some book page or something, because obviously we could do that. So I've just got some vintage book page here. So if I just fold that in half here. could have it like that. What do you think? I don't know whether I'm brave enough to do this. I know that sounds really bizarre thing to say, but you know, I'm not necessarily that experimental. So I could just grab my scrap paper wherever that has gone to be able to ink this up. Oh, here we go. Because obviously this has been coffee dyed, this blue, so it's looking quite grungy. So I'm just going to ink the book page up to see whether that would make it look, you know, better tied in. So yeah, so she was phenomenal. I mean, all the acts were brilliant. We came out, you know, full of excitement and saying, you know, what was everyone's favourite act? And nobody could really pick, you know, a favourite because they were all so incredibly brilliant. I mean, I have to say the hair one, you know, that did stick in everybody's mind. I'm not saying it was everyone's favourite, but that one did seem to be the one that, you know, most people, you know, I mean, when I say most people, it was just the four of us. But having said that, my sister and her husband and her little boy went as well. We didn't go together, but it just happened that they were also there. So, yeah, they also came out saying how amazing it was and, you know, what a brilliant night out. So, yeah, really, really good. Just can't believe the talent and the strength and the flexibility and, you know, just amazing. Absolutely amazing. And there was a family. I mean, all the people were families, to be fair. You know, so there was a couple who were doing like a roller skating act. You know, they're a couple in real life, so that's really sweet, really nice. But there was a family, so their act actually was them, you know, the mother, the father, and their two boys, which was just so cute. You know, it was really nice to see. And their act was brilliant, you know. And you just thought, wow, what a, you know, what a lovely way to, you know, bond with your family, you know, to, well, not necessarily bond, but, you know, to be so close with your family, working like that and doing those routines. It must be such a special experience. I mean, I did kind of have to chuckle and think, oh gosh, imagine if you'd, you know, just been telling your child off, you know, just before you went on. You've been having to tell them off about something, you know. You might not feel quite so confident of your act then. But they were all brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So, yeah. Definitely a good night out. And I can remember us all saying that, you know, when we went the time before as well. So, very, very good. A lot of fun. Right, just stick that down. Just stick around the edge of there because those pages were doubled up, you know, for extra thickness. So, just stick those down. Yeah, and we bought a souvenir brochure. I mean, we were really lucky because we had vouchers to get in, which were, you know, you got an adult free, 2 adults free, I think. I can't remember now. You know, on the purchase of a brochure, a souvenir brochure. And we wouldn't necessarily have bought the brochure otherwise, but I mean, obviously that made it really super cheap for us to go. And it was actually really interesting because it told you about the people in the show, you know, some background of theirs. And I mean, most of the women who were performing had little babies, you know, small children, which you just thought, gosh, you know, how can you be so fit and able to do that, you know, when you're looking after small children like that? And again, sort of how cute, you know, it's really nice to know a little bit about the people that you're watching, isn't it? So, yeah, I found that really quite nice to, you know, to know about their, you know, their family life. I thought that was really nice. You know, I didn't know obviously what was going to be in the brochure. That one's better. Didn't know what was going to be in the brochure, but actually it was nice, you know, being able to read a little bit about them. So because sometimes the brochures are quite impersonal, aren't they, and would just be telling you about the circus, you know. But to actually find out a bit about the people in the circus was really quite nice. Yes, you'll have to excuse obviously the back of this page. You know, as I say so often, this is where obviously when I'm creating my kits and I'm having to print them and print them and print them, you know, to get them right. So hence I often have, you know, things on the back of the pages, is because I've printed obviously several things several times, you know. So that's why. Okay. I'll take that one like that. And then probably just fold that up here. I'm just going to chop that down. I'm just doubling this up in thickness, just so it's a little bit more robust as a pocket. So, oh, my glue is just driving me nuts every time I'm using it. I'm having to unplug it. Oh, and it doesn't even then last for the entire duration of using it. It's driving me mad. And I have been really good with this one. I have been keeping the lid on and, you know, looking after it really well. So it's very irritating it's doing this. I have got a new glue sat to my side, so I might have to actually use that in a minute. But I'm going to actually plug this now rather than put the lid on, I think, for the rest of this video. And hopefully that might be a bit more successful. Let me just check I am still filming. I just had that horrible feeling, you know, that I was going to look up and discover I've waffled on about the circus for all that time and things, only to then look up and think, oh no, I've not even been filming. So there we go. Right. So again, I'm just going to tuck this over like that, over here. Like that. Yeah, again, you know, excuse the back of this pocket. Again, just, you know, where I've been doing my printables. So, right, just cut that down at the corners. Come on now, glue. Work. Well, that seemed okay that time. Right, I'll keep it plugged with the pin then, I think, for the remainder of the video at least. Okay. So we're getting quite a good variety, or, you know, I'm getting quite a good variety of different colours and themes and things like that, pockets. Hopefully you guys, you know, are as well, if that's what you want. You know, maybe you want to have similar things, you know, or, you know, sort of, yeah, maybe you want to have similar things. So I hope that, you know, however you're choosing to do it, that you're kind of happy with the, you know, the results that you're getting. So for this little one, I might actually go for this blue, like that. And again, just cut around like that. Yeah, I don't know whether this is just really dull doing this kind of making over and over again of the same things. I mean, I would never in a million years do this if I wasn't doing this, you know, as videos. I just wouldn't, you know, not because I wouldn't want to have all the items ready made, because that would be like, you know, heaven. But I just wouldn't kind of have the desire to ever sit down and just do repeats of things. So, you know, this is, you know, although probably a really boring video, you know, it is at least spurring me on to do many of the same items. So, you know, I'm hoping that you guys will feel that way too. So there we go. So quite like having that blue one like that. Again, just pop that to the side. And obviously, you know, the beauty of having lots of different ones is, you know, whatever then you're doing, you may well have some bits and pieces that are going to complement nicely, you know, what you've done. So now I'm just having a look on this piece. It's not particularly big, so let me see what this would look like with some book page. What do you think? Yeah, I quite like that actually. So again, I'm just going to trim around this a bit because obviously this book page is miles too big for this little pocket. So just trim around it a bit. And then I'm just going to glue it down. I mean, I'm just doubling this up so it's a little bit more robust, you know. That's why I've done that with the book page. You know, and obviously if I've used copy paper or anything very thin, I've tended to double that up as well. But where it's where it's thicker paper or scrapbook paper, you know, I haven't needed to do that. So, you know, that's why sometimes I'm doing that and sometimes I'm not. So just plug that in like that. Might move that up a bit like that. And then fold this one over like that. Just trim again across the corners. Okay. Oops. Oh, keep still. Every time I touch this, it's moving. I think because you know, because it's now lunchtime and I'm quite hungry. And I'm quite hot because I've shut the window, you know, to avoid the traffic noise. I'm actually quite hot and quite hungry. So, you know, I'm losing the plot a little bit now. Oops. Oh, come on. My glue was doing so well and now it's just given up again. Come on, come on, come on. Just a bit down this side. It's funny, isn't it, how, you know, different people like different glues. I mean, I have said before about the whole glue stick thing. I know I haven't tried glue stick for years and years, so, you know, I'm forever saying I really must try it, and I really must, because, you know, I do notice that lots of people do use glue stick these days, so, you know, it possibly is pretty good now. But, you know, I always use this same tacky glue, and I can't remember who it was that I saw a video the other day, but they were saying their favourite glues, and oddly enough, I don't think they liked that tacky glue very much, you know, and I just think it's quite interesting, you know, the different glues that people get on with. So, you know, it's the same as everything, isn't it? You know, different strokes for different folks, as they say, you know, and it's really nice that we can come on here and, you know, give our opinions or our thoughts, and then you know, we can then go off and explore a little bit and decide, you know, which ones that we like. It's quite nice to have a bit of a heads up really sometimes. Now I've got these remainders. I might use that for that and make a really colourless one. Maybe that one. Let's see. Perhaps I'll do it that way round. Yeah, quite interesting, you know, because I think, you know, we all like different things, don't we? I mean, obviously, we all like different things in everything in life, don't we? We, you know, like different things to eat and, you know, to watch on TV, different films, different books, you know, all of that stuff. And it's the same with glue. You know, I love my glue gun, absolutely love it. But I mean, some people, I always remember going to like a craft club with my friend who got me into crafting. I don't think that club runs anymore, and sadly we don't have any craft clubs where I live, but she seemed to have quite a few where she lived. And I can always remember when I first got my glue gun and saying to somebody how much I absolutely loved it. It was probably my favourite thing I've ever bought, you know, in the crafting line. And she said that she didn't like it at all. She couldn't bear all those glue threads. I mean, I get what she's saying, because sometimes they are pretty, you know, pretty everywhere, aren't they? Pretty irritating. But I love my glue gun. So I think I'm on my third one now. Third one or fourth one? Third one. Yeah, so I wouldn't say they necessarily, you know, last an awful long time. But having said that, you know, it gets a lot of use. I mean, I pretty much, you know, as soon as I'm here at my desk crafting, I switch the glue gun on. So it's plugged in, you know, all the time I'm crafting. Plugged in and on, you know, all the time I'm crafting. So, you know, it gets a lot of use, I would say. So although, you know, in one breath I think, well, it doesn't last that long. In fairness, you know, it's getting a lot of use. So it's probably not actually too bad. But, oh, I just absolutely love it, you know. I think it's just absolutely great. I mean, I love things that, you know, make things fast, you know, speedy. So that's exactly for me what the glue gun does, is just speeds up everything, you know. It's it just enables you to get a lot of stuff done, doesn't it? There we go. I think that's where I'm struggling a little bit with that fabric glue, is because it's quite slow drying. I mean, it says, funnily enough, that it's fast drying, but I mean, it's not that fast to me. I don't think it's that fast. You know, I'm not just comparing it with my glue gun. I don't think it's that fast, you know, compared to this. This, I would say, is pretty fast drying. You know, for a wet glue, I think it's quite fast. Whereas that fabric glue seems to take absolutely ages. I mean, I guess probably doesn't help because it's gluing fabric, but, you know, when this glues fabric, I think it's slightly faster. Right, come on. Oh, come on. Haven't got many more to do now, so just keep on working, please, till the end of this video. Maybe that's a sign of madness as well, just talking to your glue. Right, there we go. Getting there now. I've only got 2 more to do. So, you know, it's been pretty productive again today. So perhaps what we should do is on each one, we should just have where we decorate one piece, you know, each session, so that for people tuning in, you know, who think, wow, you know, I've just got all these pieces now, don't know what to do with them. Just for those, you know, what does everyone else think? The only thing is the videos will then turn out massively long. Maybe not too bad. It's 43 minutes so far, so let me just get this done, and then you know, we'll see if we've got time, because if then, you know, I manage to do it within an hour, that's probably not too bad. So we'll just see. again, this is just some vintage book page. So just glue that. I'm just going to keep the glue there, just hold it in my knees, and then okay. Just because I'm trying to be quite speedy now, so that we could decorate a piece. Just thinking, would that make it a bit more interesting to watch these videos, you know, if we actually then did decorate one. Because I know that obviously this is not going to be a very exciting series otherwise. Well, it's not really going to be a series. It's more of a, you know, just hopefully a weekly work together. Weekly craft along, weekly, you know, installment, weekly making in mass, you know, mass making kind of project. You know, so hopefully that's what we're doing. But if we just decorate one each week, then it would be hopefully a bit more palatable for people watching. So, you know, that's what I'm just wondering. So that's that one. Again, just weigh it down with my jar. Weigh that one down with my jar. Last one, you'll be pleased to know. So, and I'd love to hear in the comments how many you've achieved. You know, if you're making the same things as me, you know, I'd really like to know that. Be interested to hear, you know, whether you're making the same things as me each week or whether you're doing different things. And I'd love to hear how many you've made, because, you know, you've possibly made far more than me. Yeah, so I'd really be interested to hear that. So, you know, or if you weren't making the same as me, I'd love to hear what you were making. And were you making in bulk, or were you not even, you know, making in bulk? Perhaps you were just making in, you know, ones, and, you know, or maybe you were making a complete journal. I don't know. I love hearing what people are doing when they're watching. It's fun, because then I kind of picture people in their workspace, or, you know, where they are. It's really nice to be able to picture that. Right, let's pop that there. These in. Just going to check that I'm straightish there, because this is lines. It's not going to be forgiving at all. You know, forget that not straight. That's going to be, you know, showing up like a sore thumb. So just, you know, that's why I'm being a little bit careful there. Okay, and then again do my corners. Right, last one. So we're on the home stretch. And hopefully, I'll just glance at the camera in a second and see if we've got time to decorate one. And maybe that will be the format that we take, you know, time allowing, is we make X amount and then we just have a bit of fun and decorate one. So, you know, that might be then a bit more interesting. Okay, so we're at 47 minutes. So obviously that means our episodes will be slightly longer than originally planned. But hopefully they'll be slightly more fun than originally planned also. So, right, well, I've got this one right here, right in front of me. So I might as well just decorate this, to be honest, because, you know, just to save a little bit of time searching around and hunting for other things. So again, might just go for quite a grungy look. So might just pop, you know, round the corners. So there we go. So we're just around those top ones. Just ink this up, because again, you know, this has been coffee dyed, this scrapbook paper. So it's looking quite, you know, grungy compared to obviously the book page, which was quite bright in comparison. So there we go. Now I'm just going to grab things from my desk. So, you know, I've not got any sort of plan in mind. I happen to have these flowers just here laying on my desk. I've got some doily just here. So we could do something like that. What else have I got? I've got some little stamped pieces. So let's just rough this up really nicely. yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that I'm going to clear my desk a little bit by doing these these videos once a week. Who knows? Because the thing is, as fast as I clear it, I then embark on another project, and invariably then, well, the desk just goes haywire again. So yeah, I'm not sure I'm really going to get anywhere with that, to be honest. But right, now what I might do is just do a little bit of stamping here. So I'm going to, again, I'm just going to see how this Toffee Crunch comes out on the book page. I should really test it on a little bit, which I've now binned. So hold on. It's not showing up greatly, but you know, it's good enough, I think. So just pop that there. Oh, it didn't really show up. It looks a bit rubbish. Oh well, never mind. Never mind. Right, let's just do a little bit up here as well for a bit of continuity. And then we'll just do a bit on the other side as well. Okay, right. Pop that away. So I'll just glue my doily piece down. Like that. Okay. Okay, right, I might ink these flowers up a little bit. These are just some flowers from a vintage book. So obviously I'd fussy cut them out, you know, ages ago. They've just been sat on my desk, you know, waiting to get screwed up, to be honest. So I'm surprised that they're still in a fit shape to use, but there we go. So, and then I'm just going to ink this up. Oh gosh, that's my new glue that keeps falling onto me. I should have opened it. It's obviously, you know, calling to me, dying to be opened. So I might pop that on there and then just trim it here at the edge like that. So I just glue these down. Yeah, so I mean, hopefully the series is evolving. I mean, as I say, it's not really a series. It's just going to be a little project that we're going to do kind of once a week on a Tuesday, hopefully. But hopefully it's evolving a little bit, and, you know, we're finding out, you know, how is going to work best. You know, for me, doing a little bit of decorating is probably keeping my interest going. So, you know, that's why I've, you know, thought perhaps we'll just introduce that. So got that, got some little butterflies here. I'm just going to see whether I've got any other butterflies before I commit to that one. Got this one which is slightly bigger, so just ink that up. Yeah, just prefer that slightly more. And just going to grab that fabric. I'm still working my way through this fabric, so I'm determined to use all this, because then that's another thing gone from my desk. And as I say, you know, drop in the ocean compared to what else is all over my desk, but you know, psychologically it feels like, oh yay, something's gone from here. Even if, you know, visually you cannot see that something's gone from there. I can assure you, visually you cannot see. You know, you just can't see at all that anything's gone from here. Right, I'm going to put that down here kind of in the corner. I'm just going to hot glue this on because hopefully it's going to stick that fabric down at the same time. And obviously then it's just stuck on and I don't have to worry. Like that. Going to have, oops, butterfly. Oh. And then I'm just looking around because I'm wondering where my lace trim has gone there. So So maybe just a bit of lace. Maybe here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to trim, whoops, I'm going to just cut it roughly to width. And then, because you can see this is a very wide piece of lace with that header, and I don't really like the headers very well. I say that, sometimes I don't mind them, but in this case, you know, I'm not over keen on the header. So I'm going to trim that down a lot. I'm not just cutting the header off, I'm trimming it right down. So it's really tiny, it's like half the width that it was originally. And then I'm just going to pop that down there. So I will use that fabric glue, because obviously we've nearly finished now, and I can just leave it drying. So I just pop that down there. Again, I'll just dab that with the wipe. Like that. And then we might have the butterfly on here, I think. Like that. Then do we want some trim on there? Got this diamante, or I have got that pearly trim. Let's have a look. Just trim that down. Do we like the pearl one, or shall we go for this one? Let's have a look. I thought this was going to be my new favourite, this goldy one, but it doesn't necessarily go on every single thing. I mean, actually, I think it looks quite nice on this, but, you know, I thought it was going to go with everything. And, you know, I'm not finding that to be the case. So, still my favourite is the black. Definitely still my favourite. Right, so we've got that there. Might just put one other thing just in the background. So let me just see what I've got here in my stamped pieces. Got a little teacup, that's probably a bit strange. What have I got here to the side? Perhaps we'll have that up there. So I'll just ink that up. You know, again, just so it looks nice and grungy. You know, just because our piece looks nice and grungy. And actually, I don't think I really inked around there because that has been coffee dyed. So I'll just ink around that a bit as well. Otherwise, the bottom's looking more grungy now than the top. So perhaps we'll just pop that there. Oh yeah, like that. So, and this is just a stamped piece that, again, was just floating around on my desk. In with my desk ephemera, you know. Oops. Trying to get that glue and keep it from falling down. So there we go. Finally, we've completed a piece. So in this, you know, making in mass making, we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think we must have done 13, and maybe one had got stuck with something else. And we've obviously done this one, which we've now decorated up. I haven't got a blank journal on the go at the moment, but I'll just show you so you can see that's how that would look on the page. And obviously, you know, these are varying sizes, so, you know, but once you decorate them up, they're going to look pretty nice on the page. And obviously, you know, you can round the corners and decorate them up and what have you. So hope that you enjoyed today's craft with me. Hope that you managed to do some mass making yourself. I'd love to hear what you've made down below, you know, and yeah, hopefully see you next week. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thanks then. Bye.